let's show you how I did customize my Sony camera. Let's go with the menu. On file format, I choose it from JPEG to RAW because I always shoot RAW. And RAW file type, I chose uncompressed. I never tried compressed one and I don't know the difference, but from what I heard, uncompressed gives you more dynamic range. Now, depends, I have no idea yet, but I did choose it uncompressed. Of course, uncompressed, the file size are more bigger than compressed, but I do not care. I have a big SD card. JPEG quality, there's no point. Even though I don't know why it says 60 megapixel if this camera is rated at 61. I have no idea. Maybe some type mistakes I have. Yeah, aspect ratio, I did not change it. Yeah, of course here you can change it, which is interesting, but I wanted the biggest one, 342. APC, I do not use it, but I did customize it on the button, which I will show you later on. I choose it color space Adobe RGB. I don't think it does make a difference, but on the LCD it makes a little bit of difference. You won't see it, it does not matter that much, but I did choose it. This on drive mode, single shooting, continuous, high-end. I choose sometime bracketing because I need some time to do an HDR, but this is the from the shooting area, so this is not very important. Okay, focus mode, continuous AF. I choose it like this. Sometimes it does hunt in low lights. I still don't find that mirrorless has a better focus quality like a DSLR one, at least in low light. In a good light, mirrorless it much more. Focus area tracking, I choose it a lot. I leave it a lot like this, flexible spot, I do not move it. Focus area limit, I do not change anything throughout here. And illuminator, I choose it auto. Here is you can change the priority focus, animal, human, and so on. I leave it for now a human because I barely shoot animals. I choose the sensitivity to be very responsive because I need a fast focus, an accurate one most of the time. Focus priority, here you can change it to be silent, but this is the aperture when it's open and close it to get it does here a little bit when it closes and opens, but I do not care because it's still on a focus priority, it's still very silent. Autofocus with shutter, this is when you press the half shutter button to focus. I always do it like this because if I do it with AF on, my finger is stuck on here and I have two fingers locked. If I want to change the shutter speed faster, I cannot because I have to release the focus button and I cannot focus. I'm not used to this. I always shot on the shutter button. Pre-AF, it's for the autofocus to focus even when you don't press the shutter speed to focus or AF on, whichever button you have it. So let me demonstrate you. As you can see right now, let's zoom in, it's in focus. The flash unit, and this one is not in focus, but when I press the shutter speed, it does focus. I hope you can see it very good. And now let's go with pre-AF. So pre-AF automatically focus on the, as you can see, it did autofocus after a while. Come on. As you can see, it did focus. Here you'll see it does not focus because it doesn't have anything in front. A useful feature if you want to have it like this for a faster focusing. Wireless flash. Well, the camera comes with a wireless flash turned off by default. So let me show you what it does. When you want to take a picture, let's take one now. As you can see, I pressed the shutter and the picture was taken by almost a second slower. Well, now let's turn it on. And let's take a picture right now. As you can see, it's instantly taking the picture. I don't know why it did had on by default off. It took me a while to find this problem. It took me a while to find this option, but yeah, if you have this problem of a lag, here is how you solve it. Now on color white balance imaging processing, I did change this one DRO to off. Now, first of all, this one gave me a lot of problem at the beginning because I always shot on a wrong exposure, even though on LCD it did show up that it's good exposure. And most of the time, not always, I was off by one stop, even two, because of this option was turned on auto. Of course, you can do it by level. And what this option does is it does brighten up a little bit of the LCD when it's somewhere low lights, shadows a lot, and it gives you a wrong exposure even though you set up the effect to be visible. So let's see if I can look at this. Level 1 from the auto. See, it does increase the exposure by a lot. And you think that you're overexposing by one stop, and of course you go into the settings and try to underexpose. And with this, you think it's a good exposure, but when it's off, you're underexposed. So yeah, make sure you turn this off when you're using the effects on the camera. Profile, this one did not change anything. I did choose the anti-flicker shot on. This is for the movie file format. I choose it to full HD in 24 frame rate. I barely use another settings for now. Depends on the type of the video that I want to make, but most of the time I leave it in 24. CONQ settings, I forgot a lot what it does, but it's something about a quick video. I do not use it because I don't need it. This is proxy recording. I don't know for the Final Cut, but for Premiere Pro you can choose proxy settings. So if you have a big file, let's say a 4K, but your computer does not support 4K very good, you can choose you can make proxy, and it's way more better. And you can do it like that directly from the camera. It does record simultaneous, a low bit rate, as you can see in the settings, and you'll have both files on the card, so it will be way much easier for you to edit the files. But I do not need it. But it's good to have this one. Here is your well, by now I think you know, but you must disable this function, because if you do not have a SD card on the camera, so that the shutter button, it won't be released, because let's say you forgot to introduce a SD card or something in the camera, and now you're shooting images, but there's nowhere to stock them. So you shot a couple of images and now you can't have them anymore because they're gone. Steady shot, I did, of course, it's the stabilizer from the sensor. And the settings, I leave it on auto, which is interesting. You can choose it from the millimeters, but I do not need it. On auto, it does work very good. On final monitor, I did choose it on manual because I barely use the viewfinder, but I do use it sometimes, and I did make a customized button for it. When I press it, it goes through the viewfinder and LCD, so it's more better for me like this. Frame rate, I did leave it on standard, but it's very nice to have it on a high frame rate because it's more smooth, the LCD and viewfinder. I did not try it on a shoot or something to see how much the battery is drained, but yeah, for me it's pretty good on standard. I do not use it that very much. I got used to it very good. So yeah, this is live views display settings. I always leave it on because when you're using flash, of course you can set it the effect off. Let's see how with the effect off. As you can see, the shutter speed it does change, but the exposure do not on the LCD camera. So when I choose it on, as you can see, it's already underexposed. If I change the shutter speed, as you can see, this is the effect. It does show you the exposure right on the LCD. And of course, on the viewfinder works the same. So I leave it on most of the time, only when I choose it flash, but I do find it when I use it a flash, these settings it's kind of turned off by default, and I do not like that one a lot because when I want to have the flash, I want to exposure for the background and so on, and I cannot do that because the effect it's off, and I have no idea how much I underexposed or overexposed, and I have to get the flash off to make the exposure and put the flash on. It's a hassle. I hate it that much, and I did not find it a function to have it on, to remove that function. But yeah, auto review I leave it most of the time off only when I have it the flash, when I use the flash in control environments. But when I'm on fast moving, let's say a wedding or so on, I leave it off because I want to see the action very fast. At least when I use it with the viewfinder, I find most of the time that I'm behind by a lot. I need to see the action right away. And of course, sometimes I can use the display button to check out the images if it's overexposed or if not. So custom key, here you can customize the settings on the buttons. As you can see, this is the front one. So on the wheel I choose the ISO. When I turn the wheel, as you can see here, let's see it. As you can see, ISO from the wheel. Now on focus standard, I try to have a single focusing and continuous mode very fast, but I don't know, I still don't find that it does work with this camera. Maybe it's another setting, I have no idea yet. If you know, please do show me, because I do want sometimes to have a single focus and continuous one very fast to change, because sometimes the continuous mode it does not work very good. On Canon I do have a button, if you saw my first video, right on the lens. I did press it once and it goes very fast on single mode and continuous, but here I do not have that one, and I hope I can find that button, because I do really need it sometimes. On this camera on good light does not need it, but yeah, I do use it sometimes. So switching from right eye to left eye, I did customize it because sometimes the camera it doesn't want to, even though I set it on auto, this is settings, sometimes it does not want to have the left eye or the right eye, even though I focus specifically on that eye. It does move on the right eyes, on the left eyes, depends. So yeah, here I choose it to have it right the eye that I need it. Focus mode, this one I leave it on default. I do not need it. So yeah, here you can see it's a rear one. If you do on the next page, you have the rear too. Focus standard again with this button. I have to change it to see. Not set, I did not set drive mode. Of course it's on the even on the icons. This is the and here one is the Finder monitor select. Like I told you, I can choose from when I press down to be on the viewfinder. Let's see. So here you can see it a little bit. It's not in focus because it's way too close, but as you can see, it does change. So on the next page, on top, I have it focus area. This I barely use it. I leave it by the default. And of course, on the lens, I choose because this camera has an option to crop and full frame mode. I choose it on the lens, the button on the lens, as you can see it. When I press it, it's cropped. It's not cropped. That's it with these settings. Now on the second one, this is for the movie. When you are in movie mode, I did not change anything. It's as you can see, follow custom the picture. It's it follows what I set up on the picture size. This you can change for the movie mode different settings, which is very awesome. But what I did change again, it's on the lens for the crop mode and full frame. This one is when you see the images, which I did not change it anything. This is the network to send or have the phone control the camera and so on. I don't think there's a lot more to change here. I have it for now control with a smartphone on. When you wanna to control it with the PC, you'll see here that it's gray, because you have to turn off from the smartphone and you can turn on now with the PC. So yeah, you need to keep in mind that one. As you can see, live on TV, because with smartphone some of the options were gray. The device name, you can change it here. Here on display quality, I set it to standard. I did not find any difference between high and standard though. I do not know. Maybe some of you can show me what is the difference, because yeah, I did not find anything different. It's the same. So yeah, if I do find it, sometimes I will let you know, make another video just for new options, or what I find or not. Power save time 5 minutes, it's enough for me. NTSC and PAL selector. That's a kind of problem. I do not know why the Sony chose it like this, but if you wanted to choose it, let's say NTSC or PAL, you have to format the card and of course reboot. I don't know why it's such a big difference, because on Canon you can choose it right away without any problem. So yeah, that's a big hassle. And like I said, on a format you lose all of the files on that card forever. So yeah, maybe they could make something around this so that you don't have to format, or I don't know, something that works way much better. But yeah, what can you do? Touch operation, I do have it on, but it's kind of useless because you cannot touch it anything when you are in menu, just only when you want to try to adjust the focus mode, and that's it. As you can see, it does work in video, this option, but that's it when you want to choose the focus areas faster. Kind of useless though, in a way. It was awesome if you could choose it in the menu, and also on the photos you can change. Yeah, it's kind of slow, this camera, so yeah, you can use it with the touch. As you can see, I cannot even change another image with the touch, so yeah, the touch screen is kind of useless for me at least. Here, if you want to charge the camera with a power bank or something like this, you need to set it on, but I think it's on by default. Here you can write the copyright info when you have the picture. This is the EXIF for information from the camera. As you can see, you can change the copyright, email, and like this it does show up. I have a problem with the format system because on this camera, I don't know if it's all of them, but if you format the card in the camera, it will be permanently formatted. I mean, you cannot recover the files on a computer with a data recovery or something like this, which is a big problem because, yeah, if you have a problem or you formatted by mistake, your files are gone forever. You cannot recover it. On my Canon, I could recover files, which I had one time a problem with the card, and I could recover all the files, even files from couple years ago. It was still on the card. So yeah, that's a big problem. So I always suggest to format it on the computer, but one thing I do not like on this is because let's show you first. You inserted the card in the camera. Okay, everything good. Open the camera and of course it's open. It's preparing image database file. Why it needs to be done like this, I have no idea. It even slows the startup. So yeah, on Canon everything is right away. Here on Rec Media settings you can choose how you wanna record the picture, video, which is awesome on this camera. You can record the video on both cards, which I kinda like it. But of course it does take a lot of space. I never had a problem with the video, but yeah, it's great to have in case of something. It's good to record on both cards. So prioritize which one you wanna have the prioritize to copy first. And here you can choose how to record the media. Simultaneous only picture. So like this, if you choose it, it will be copying on both cards the pictures, only the pictures. Here, if you choose this icon, it's only both for the video. But if you want to have pictures and video on the both cards, you choose it this option. As you can see here, it does show up. So sort RAW plus JPEG if you want to have it like this. As you can see, JPEG first, RAW second. RAW first, JPEG second. And here you can sort out pictures on the first card and video on the second. Of course, I do leave it on standard because most of the time I shoot with one card. Of course, I do have two cards on the camera, but most of the time I choose it just one card. One card. Here is the settings on the folders. Now, what I do like and I do not like is of course it's kind of in the camera, but I cannot show it right now, is the file management system on the card. This is when you put it on the desktop. You have the images and the video on separate folders. I do like that a lot, but the video is kind of how do I say it, a little bit hidden. You have to find it somehow. So yeah, it was awesome if you could, it was more easier. But yeah, this is for the menu, not the file management on the desktop and other things. And kinda that's it. Here you can customize the menu to which you choose faster. I did put it a couple of settings, but I think couple of times I did go into this menu to choose what I need to change. Yeah, I still need to learn the menu system on the camera, and what I heard and I saw that on every camera system the menu is kind of different. From the R4 to R3 the menu is different, and so on, which is kind of not that very good, because when you want to learn something, you maybe want to upgrade because the other camera has some function that you need it, the menu is very different. That's very bad for the Sony because they have a pretty good hardware on the cameras, but the software, it's horrible. Well, not all the software, because you also need the image processing and so on. That's also included hardware and software, but let's say the user interface is kind of bad. Maybe in the future, I don't know what future, they will simplify a little bit, but I do like it a lot that you can customize the camera on how you want it. You have the buttons and so on. So yeah, here I choose it, as you can see, couple of buttons, but I barely use it. Okay, kinda that's it with this one. What can I show you? Here on the function, let's put it back on. On the function, I kinda have the default one. I barely use it. I'm most of the time. What I change it from the function? Kinda nothing, because continuous mode, I have it from here. As you can see, the icon. Let's put it back on. From single shooting to high plus, timer, close, bracketing. I do like the bracketing because you can choose how many pictures you can have. As you can see here, minus difference with 3 exposure compensation of 5 pictures and so on. As you can choose, here you can see it better, but most of the time I choose it with 3 exposure compensation difference with 3 images on what I need to do. Of course, sometimes you need to do it, as you can see, you can choose it for until 5 images, but on these settings, as you can see, one exposure difference with 9 images, which is very nice from the camera. So yeah, this is on slow. This one is on single. Here on continuous, you can fast drive. Hold the button, it just shoot up the 3 images instant, which is very nice because 10 frames per second, it's a lot and it's faster. Here is single, you press yourself the button when you want it. Okay, let's go a little bit on the video side to show you something that I do not like how they made it. And what is this is the audio function. As you can see here, you can change the audio level. Of course, it's a black screen with audio levels and so on. And here you can see my decibel on my voice. If I increase it, it's more louder. If I decrease it, it's lower. Everything is fine. Well, what I do not like it, when you record, you cannot, I mean, you can change the levels, but you have to go in the system, and now you have a black screen while are you recording to change the audio levels, which I do not like it at all. On Canon, you can change it, the audio levels, when are you recording. You have here on the screen, and it's much more awesome. I do not know if the Sony have this option or not. I did not find it, but for now I hate this function, man. You cannot do it like this. And on the video I do use it a lot, that function. On Canon I did use it a lot. So yeah, this is the only thing I hate it on the video. So on Canon, let's go to the movie mode right away, pretty fast. As you can see, the user interface, start recording, press in the Q, and here you can adjust the audio level without any problem. And you won't have to go to the black screen. Let's show you. See, you have the live view mode recording without any problem. I wish also the Sony will implement this method, because it's way much better. What I do like it on the video, which you cannot do it on Canon, even though on Canon it's way more fastest to switch on the video, but here you can press the video button and it's immediately switch to video to record, which I do like this function a lot. But again, what I do not like, as you can see the settings, let's increase it to 50 of the second. No, let's increase it to, leave it like this, 120 of the seconds. On F4, ISO 100. Let's switch it to video right now. So right now I'm on the video. What are you seeing like this? The same settings from the photo side. Now let's choose it 50 of the second for the video. And now let's go with the photo mode. Now what are you seeing? 50 of the second. This is, I hate it, man. Even on Canon Mark III I have the same settings, but I do not understand. On older, I have a older camera, like 10 years old, and it does memorize the settings from the video and photo. Why these systems cannot do it that one? Because it's way much easier. And of course the picture profile, you set it to S-Log3, as you can see, no, S-Log2, as you can see, gamma and so on. Okay, I want to have it like this, black level 0. I want to shoot in S-Log. Now, of course, it goes automatically, the minimum you can have it 500. You can adjust the aperture and so on. And now let's go to the photo side. What do I have here? S-Log 2, 500 a second, 50. Why it does not memorize the settings from the video and photos? I have to now go to, of course, here you do not have the picture profile. You have to go on the menu. I think you can change it from the creative style to picture profile, but that's not the point. You have to go to the menu, and I have it on the my menu settings. Where was it? Picture profile, and I have to go and change it to off. Now I do hate that function. Maybe this is a software use. I think they can upgrade it and make something about this, because a lot of people, I think, need this option in their life. Now let's talk about the speed of the camera. Of course it has 10 FPS, which it does shoot very fast, but the big problem of the camera is that the camera itself is very slow, because as you can see there's everywhere a lag. I'll show you. I want to change the ISO pretty fast. See, it's lagging. It does not show right away. Let's start from 1000 to underexpose. See, it's not right away, but see, there's a big lag. On the shutter speed it does not have that much lag, which is very good. And on the f-stop it's pretty fast, but on ISO I have no idea why it has this lag. Sometimes I do make baby mistake on going on auto ISO, which I do not need. I need only, see, I try to go to 50 auto ISO. I don't know, I think it does not register all the clicks on the wheel. And yeah, it did not register all the clicks on the wheel. It should be 200 ISO. Let's say 200, I need to go to 100. That's pretty good, but it did not register all of them. I should have been on 64 because of the clicks. Yeah, sometimes it does not register very good, and that's a big problem. Another big problem is the camera itself on writing the on card. It has this problem. I see that Sony has this problem for a long time, and it's still not a fix. Let's say you want to do it faster, crop. and shot couple of images. I cannot do anything because it's writing to memory card. And of course, if you don't have a faster SD card, you'll have a long time waiting. But also, how fast is the SD card? It's not 1 gig per second. I hope they will, maybe in a future release, will fix this big problem. Also, if you want to change another thing, you can almost everything. It's, let's say you want to change the driving mode, you cannot do it because right into memory card. Yeah, that's I hated a lot because the camera is not fast at all. It's very slow, even though it has the autofocus, which is, they try to make it so much better, and it does work pretty good in good condition lights, and even a low light situation, but also depends on what low light it is. But the writing to memory card, it's destroying all the camera functionality to be faster. Even you have, let's say, 40 fps per second, you shoot all the fps per second, and then you have to wait for the buffer to be clear, which is a big problem because you cannot do anything with the camera. Now, I do not know if it's my unit or every camera is the same, but I do have a problem when you try to focusing. As you can see, I can reproduce it very well on the red light, so you can see it better on the camera. On very good light, it does show up, but not that much, so it's not a big of a problem. But in low light and so on, it's a big one. Even I tried it on with the red light on a face, and it did destroy the face. And as you can see, when I try to focus, the image just totally degrades by a lot. And I have it on manual focus right now, as you can see. It's focus. Here it's not in focus, and here the Sony is in focus logo. But when I try to focus, as you can see, of course the files turn out very good, but only in this condition. And let's go with the autofocus. Let's focus on the Sony. The camera hunts every time, I do not know why, and the LCD degrades by a lot. Now, I have no idea why. I hope you can try to do it on your own camera and tell me if it's the same or not. But on good lighting, it does not show up, as you can see. And even it doesn't even hunt. It's everything good. Here it does show up a little bit sharper though, that when I try to focus. I have no idea why. I think like this is the camera. I don't know. Let's do tell me if your unit is the same, so I know what I can do. Maybe I try to send it back. If I send it back, maybe I get nothing. But yeah, sometimes it's a big problem, but not always. So let me show you in a very low light condition how the focus system works on continuous. As you can see, I chose on the Sony logo to focus, but the continuous focusing is going right around here because it's more shiny. So yeah, it does not work very good, and as you can see, when I try to focus, the image gets horribly noisy. When I release the focus, everything is good, but when I try to focus, it's horrible. Let's take a picture, and now let's go with the continuous, as you can see, writing. Let's go with the single shot. Single shot works very good. And let's take a picture again. As you can see, the image looks very good, but when I try to focus, it gets very noisy. I have no idea why. I hope you can tell me if there's a problem with my unit or like this is the camera. Now let's go on the image and see if it did focus very good. As you can see, the image it's sharp without a problem. Like this you can zoom out, even you cannot do it a pinch zoom, but yeah, everything is sharp. Let's go with the continuous shot. This is the continuous shot, and as you can see, it's already not in focus. The Sony logo is not in focus because it did focus on the right edge. So yeah, the focus system, the continuous focus system works pretty good in a good condition light, but on low light it's not that reliable. With this, I hope you did like my video and you saw how I customized the camera and little problems that I have with it. I hope maybe in the future will get fixed. And also, if you have some question, do leave it in the comments below and I try to answer them as fast as possible and to every comment. Until then, do subscribe to my channel to see more content, like this video, and of course you can share it to other people to see the transition with a Sony camera from the other system. Maybe it will get a much more easier and know what they are buying. I do like this camera a lot, even with these problems. I do not shoot that very often, fast pacing action. So yeah, I can get around it with not much of a problem. Until then, I hope you have a good one. Bye bye.